Hey everyone, this is Yvonne Zusel from the AJC Dining team. We are here at Alon's Bakery in Dunwoody. We are going on the third night of Hanukkah. As you can see by my sweater, we're celebrating. And we are going to be making Sufganiyot today with Chef Alon. Let's go over and start the process. So hello, thank you for joining us. So today we're making Sufganiyot. Can you tell our viewers what Sufganiyot are, for those who don't know?
The Sufganiyot is a ball of dough. It's a rich dough. There's a lot of different recipes, but ours is pretty rich. And we fry them, and basically it's a donut. It's a type of donut.
And they can be filled with all different kinds of things.
They can be filled
right?
with, anything you can imagine.
Right. So what do you fill them with here?
We fill them with dulce de leche. We fill them with custard. We do raspberry. Some people like it plain, no filling.
Plain, no filling? That sounds boring. All right. So we're going to try to make them here, and we will be sharing the recipe on AJC.com this afternoon, so you can check back there for the full recipe, but we're going to do a little demo here, so why don't we get started?
Beautiful.
Okay.
So I made a small quantity that everybody can make at home. We got all our ingredients over here.
All right. Can you go through one by one? And just
yes,
kind of show
we have flour. You can use all-purpose.
Okay.
This is bread flour that we like to use. We have sugar. We have milk. We got some egg yolks. We got some dry yeast, instant. We
dry
got
what?
some
I'm sorry.
dry yeast.
Oh, dry yeast. Uh-huh.
We got some vanilla extract and some lemon zest.
Uh-huh.
We got butter, a little salt, and a little extra water to adjust the consistency of the dough.
Okay. And we will have the exact measurements online later today.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the yeast, we're going to put them in the bowl. We're going to add a little bit lukewarm milk.
Okay.
And we're going to mix it. Let me grab my tool. Just going to mix my yeast with a little bit of milk. I'm going to add just a little bit of flour here. And this is basically just to kind of activate the yeast and, so it looks like a slurry, like not a lot. I mean.
And just lightly mixed, yeah?
And normally you'll cover that and you'll leave it for 10 minutes just to proof. But we don't have that time and we'll pretend like we already did.
10 minutes later. All
so
right.
we'll add the rest of the ingredients. We got the flour, we got the sugar, we're going to add the milk, we're going to add the egg yolks.
Okay, so it's just egg yolks.
Just
right?
egg yolks,
okay.
yes.
And for those who are just tuning in, we are making Sufganiyot for Hanukkah at Alon's Bakery. If you have any questions, type them in the comments and we'll get them answered.
Some vanilla extract and the fresh lemon zest. Try to get all this goodness out. Okay. A little bit of salt. Some butter that we soften just slightly in a microwave, like 10 seconds maybe, even less.
Okay.
And finally we'll add a little extra water here. The reason you put the water, every flour absorbs a different amount of water, so that's why the recipe that you'll see online will only show you the milk, but then the water you'll see how much you really need for your type of flour.
Okay, so kind of just...
Yeah, you'll have to adjust it and you'll be able to see the consistency of it.
Okay. And if somebody doesn't have a stand mixer at home, I mean, can they just put a lot of elbow grease into it?
Absolutely,
Okay.
Absolutely. I can even demonstrate some of it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So we're going to start, if you want to look at the dough over here, we're starting slow. We want, usually when you mix, it's a good idea to start slowly and get the flour to absorb the liquids before we start beating it really fast. And we do that even when we make 50 pounds of flour. It's the same thing, same process. We mix it slowly, we stop the mixer, we feel the dough, and you can see how You know, it's kind of a little sticky. It's pretty soft. This is a good consistency that we want here.
So now you're increasing the speed a little bit.
It's just a hair, but it's still a little bit slow. In a minute, I'm going to increase it a lot because I want to really develop the gluten. And this is the same like bread making. You want to have the gluten in the flour, you know, develop, and that way create the lightness of the bread. That's how the bread actually holds its shape. And the same with the donut, the Sufganiyot is the same thing. So you want to mix it really well. So once it's all blended well, I like the consistency. Now I can start really kneading it.
Okay.
And you know when it's done enough, if I stop it right now and you look at the dough, it kind of like comes right apart, you see?
Yeah.
Because the gluten is not, it's like a piece of rubber. Think that there's rubber in there. There is no rubber over it. It comes right, you know. So if I cook that, that will be a dense donut. It won't be light. So I want to mix it, and you'll see the difference after we mix it for a few minutes. So that's going to take...
How often should you be feeling the consistency?
I mean, it's going to take at least, you know, 4 or 5 minutes maybe.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we can talk some questions and...
Okay. Yeah, and just to remind anybody who's just tuning in, we are making Sufganiyot with Chef Alon at Alon's in Dunwoody. And if you have any questions, type them into the comments and we'll get them answered. Do you know the significance of Sufganiyot? I mean, why we have them for Hanukkah? It's because of the oil, right? Anything fried.
It's the story of the oil. So anything fried, and we're good at that. We always, you know, our Jewish religion, we have all those latkes and
right.
Falafel,
yeah.
and you know, we do a lot of stuff in the oil.
Right.
And that's really the significance that I know about.
Yeah.
So in Israel, it's really big. I know that, you know, when I came to the States, you know, people didn't really know exactly the connection.
Right.
But in Israel, we used to make thousands of them every night.
Really? Yeah. It doesn't seem like there is pervasive here, but
that's right, yeah.
But you do sell them here at Alon's, obviously.
We do.
How many do you make? Would you guess in a season?
We make several thousand of them during the week. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to show something in the dough over here. As you see in the beginning when we started mixing it, this dough was stuck to the bottom. Now you see it's separating from the sides. That's a good sign that the dough is developing really nicely. Let's check it out. And we'll see, before it used to come apart, look how much more elastic it is now.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it still can go a little bit longer, but you can see how it's developing, how that's action here. That's the gluten. That's what gluten does in a dough.
Okay.
Now we have a question from Facebook Live, and she's wondering, do you sell these treats all year long?
No.
Which types of filling are available?
Dulce de leche, custard, raspberry, and plain without filling.
And so when do you actually start selling them?
We start selling them about a week before Hanukkah, and at the end of Hanukkah we'll stop making them.
Okay. Do you take orders for?
Yes, we do. It's online, alons.com, alons.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this dough here. So you see also the dough that's been worked well is not sticky. Even if it's soft, that's a pretty soft dough, but it's not sticky. You see, it doesn't really stick to your fingers.
Right.
So if you work that on a board, you can just go in motion. Once you put it together, you can kind of push it and fold. Push it and fold. And I'm going to slow down the heat on our, so we don't get too hot here.
Okay. So how hot should oil be?
We're cooking it to 350. If you can look at the thermometer right now, we are at, well, this is,
So 350.
350.
Okay.
So if we fold it like that, that's how you would do it if you don't have a mixer. If you're making a large quantity, because if you make a large quantity, you won't be able to do it in this mixer.
Right.
So you can start it, and then after that, you can just kind of push and fold. And just keep doing that, and you'll feel the dough, how it's becoming stronger, and it's kind of fun to do if you haven't done it before. So,
and you're not you didn't flour the surface before you did that.
I didn't need to because it's not sticking over here. But if it does, you know, the rule with flour is you only use it if it's sticky. You don't put flour all the time. Flour itself does not really have good flavor. The flavor is in the fermentation and the ingredients and all that. So if you just add flour, you want to minimize that. So what I'll do now is I'll take this ball of dough over here and I'll place it in the bowl. You can put a little grease, you can cover it, and you leave it in a warm place for about an hour, hour and a half. Okay. So I'm going to double. So
in a warm place, warmer than room temperature.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. It could be at room temperature. It's a matter of time. So the cooler it is, the longer it will take.
Okay.
You can even make the dough the day before, leave it in the refrigerator, and come the next day and then do it. So if you want to divide it up because you're busy, that's a great way to do it as well.
Okay.
So since we knew you were going to come over here and want those Sufganiyot instantly, we already made another dough.
All right.
That already proofed here. This is how the dough looks.
So this is how it looks after it's been proofed.
After it's been proofed.
About an hour if it's in a warm place.
And you'll see how much gases I'm going to push out of here.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's very fluffy and
got some bubbles going on.
Yeah, it does. And I got a little bit flour that I have here. Now I'll need the flour because I'll be rolling this dough. So as I'm pulling it out, you can see I don't need to work it. I don't want to work it either.
Okay.
I want to take it very gently, and I want to flour it on both sides. Flip it a couple times. Make sure it's got flour from all sides, because I'll be rolling it, and if it's not, it's going to stick to the table. So
here we do want a little bit of flour.
We do want a little flour because otherwise it will stick to the table.
Stick, right? Okay.
Now we take a rolling pin. I'm sure you got a smaller one at home, but
that is a industrial.
That's the other one I could find. So here I'll be going about ½ an inch. I don't want it very thin.
Okay.
Okay, and you see now it's very easily I can roll it. If you start working that and you try to roll it, you won't be able to because of the gluten that help us.
Right.
Here it will be not helping us.
Okay, so in this case, as little as possible.
You just want to do a little bit of that, you know. It's about ½ an inch and maybe a little less, maybe 3/8. I don't know exactly. But let me get my cutter.
Okay. And just to remind everybody, we are at Alon's making Sufganiyot for Hanukkah. If you have any questions, type them in. We will get them answered. But right now, we are about to stamp out the sizes for the circles for the donuts.
Okay, so now I brought myself a nice board here, and you can take a tray at home.
Okay.
One nice way to do it so it doesn't stick is to put a towel, because a towel will not stick to dough. So it's a good way to do it. I'm not putting a towel, I'm putting a little flour. That works as well. You can use a cup at home. You can use a cutter. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
You
but
cut
about
a circle.
That size, right? It shouldn't be too
I like to do this size. You
Okay.
can do any size you want to. If it's too big, you'll have a hard time cooking it properly.
Okay.
So we're just going to cut circles like that and place them on the board.
What's your favorite flavor?
Mine? Oh, I like custard.
Oh yeah, good pick. Do you ever get like Sufganiyot overload? Like you just had too many?
Yes, I did a long time ago.
But you'll still have one every now and then?
Of course.
Yeah, you have to.
It's part of the holiday.
Celebrate the holiday.
So just so you know, so this is what, when I was a kid, this is how my mother used to do it, and this is how I'm showing the audience to do it, because it's really the easiest way to do it. At the bakery, we don't really do it that way. We cut it to small pieces, we weigh them, we have machines that, you know, divide it up for us, and we weigh the small pieces, like it's about 1.5 ounces we do them, and after they're all cut, and we cut a whole bunch of them at a time, and then we take them, we don't like flour when we do that, and we just round them like that. And we make nice round balls like that. So I didn't show you to do it that way because that takes some skill to be able to get them round like that.
People at
it's
home
a lot harder to do it. So if I showed you like that, you get really frustrated. But with the leftover, you can still try it. The advantage of doing them pieces of dough like that is that there's no waste. Here, I got to take that, and I got to somehow flatten it and roll it again. It would be hard because the gluten has been activated here.
Right.
And now I'm trying to
And you've
roll
already
it,
worked
and it's
it
going to
up.
come back. I mean, it was still, as I said, you know, I grew up eating it like that, and my mother made it like that, so it's possible. But we don't do it that way
Yeah.
as a bakery.
So here, though, you do them individually like this? You roll them into
Yes,
balls?
we roll them to balls,
Okay.
and that's how we do it.
We've got another question from Facebook.
Yes.
What inspired you to open your bakery?
Well,
It's a long story.
it's a long story.
You've been here, so we should tell everybody that you've been in business for 25 years this year, right?
That's right, that's right. It's been 25 years, and I came from Israel about 30 years ago, and I guess I was a baker since I was a kid, so I was like cooking and baking, and for me it was a hobby. And then one day I decided that I'm good at it, and
And here we
probably
are.
should pursue it. And then, you know, also the dream to be an entrepreneur was part of it. So it's a combination between something that I really love doing and I was good at, and being an entrepreneur.
And your first location is in Morningside, right?
Yes, that's the first one. It's in Morningside, and that happened in 1992, May of 1992. And we opened here about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, February, going to be 10 years. So we're going to take this tray, normally, we're going to take this tray, and we're going to cover it with another towel or maybe a plastic wrap or something. You don't want to get skin on it, and you're going to let it proof. It may take 30 minutes, it may take a little bit more, because we don't have the time to do it over here. We're going to take them like that, and we're going to
We're
put
doing
them
the
in
turbo,
the oil. Yeah.
turbo version of Sufganiyot. Okay.
So we got the oil over here. Now you can see the thermometer is cooperating a little bit more. It's showing 354 over here. We're trying to stay around 350. Now we're working with oil, and I want everybody to be very, very careful as you work with it. The way we do it is we always use two hands. Anybody who work with me will tell you that. We use two hands, and we always take the top part and we're putting it down. We don't lay it down like that. We do it like that. And the way you do it is you touch the oil and you let it go.
Lay it down.
Okay? Like this.
So gently
down.
place.
That's right.
Otherwise you get splatter.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
The reason you flip them and put that side up, because when it sits like that, you got a dome on top after they proof. So you want to put the round part at the bottom, and then you'll flip them back.
that. Okay. That makes sense. So you should. They're not sizzling right now, which is how it should be, right? You don't get.
Yeah,
those, like,
that's why I give a number 350 is really, if you stick to it, that will make it a lot easier for you to manage that.
Okay. Because we don't want to burn them either.
These will be double this size if we let them proof. Because
Okay.
we did not let them proof, they're
gonna
not
be a little
going
small.
to. But we're going to look at them, of course, and we'll look at the one we made earlier.
Right, the
and
finished
show
product.
you the finished product.
Okay. But after, it should sit for another 30 minutes or so before you put them
Yes,
in.
it needs to feel fluffy. When you touch it, you're going to feel that it's kind of like almost hollow.
Okay.
So you touch it, you feel it soft and kind of a little airy. Not too much.
Okay.
Because in the oil, it expands. Even those did not proof at all, you'll see.
They're starting to get a little bit.
Yeah, they started getting a little bit. And I would put a timer, even 2 minutes on each side works great. That's what we do.
Okay.
2 minutes, it beeps, flip it, 2 more minutes, pull it out.
What are you using to flip? Tongs or
We usually
spatula?
we use this actually.
Okay.
So
Most people don't have one of those,
Right,
but you could
right.
just use tongs or
yeah, you could use
some other
that, or
kitchen
we take a
equipment.
wooden spoon also, and we can use these to flip them like that.
Yeah, look at that. It's already getting
So,
all right.
so this is without. You can see this is without any proof. We didn't let it proof. It looked like that. So you can imagine after you let it sit for 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful. The other way you can work with this is you can make the dough. You can make these circles over here. And let's say it's nighttime and you're going to work tomorrow morning and you got guests coming at 6 tomorrow. So you can take this bag that, put it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow pull it out, proof it, and fry it right then.
So pull it out 30 minutes before you want to put them in,
Yes.
and then you're ready to go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
since they're cold, it's going to be more than 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll be cold, they need to come to room temperature, and then,
And then another 30
So
minutes,
maybe a
right.
little bit more, but it'll make your life a lot easier.
Right.
You got guests coming.
You can do
Because
it the night
these,
before.
you don't want to cook those ahead of time. You want to do them fresh because the best Sufganiyot, at least the way I grew up, was always cooked when guests are there.
Yeah.
And you have it nice and hot, and that makes a big difference.
Definitely.
So it's a little extra effort, and
So 2 minutes on each side. There
yeah,
was-
and yours going to look a little darker than that. again, the fact that we didn't let it proof as much, makes it different on the final look of these.
Right.
But still, even though they didn't, look how puffy they are.
Yeah.
So they'll be better if you let them proof a
Okay.
little bit more.
But even if you don't, they still don't look too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like beignets are made very similar to that, It's basically also dough like that. They roll it a lot thinner, and they cut them to different shapes. If anybody been to New Orleans, they cut them very thin, and then they cut them in different shapes, and they fry them like that.
Yeah.
Then they put powdered sugar, and there's no proof to them at all. The one I've seen, I think they put baking powder or something.
So
I'm not an expert on beignet, but it's a similar process.
So we're making Jewish beignets today.
Yeah, right.
A version of that.
A donut without the hole.
Right.
So we have one more question from Facebook. How long overall does the entire process typically take to make these products?
It depends. If you do it beginning to end until these are ready, so you gotta scale, you gotta mix the dough. So I don't know, each person takes different time, but I would say let's say 30 minutes. From the time you collect all the ingredients and mix it, then you leave it, go have a coffee or whatever, and then an hour and a half later you need to come back, roll it, then you need to cover it, and that's going to be another 30 minutes. Then you're going to need to fry them. Let's make sure we're not burning ours. Okay.
They're looking good and smelling good.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So then you're going to need to fill them, and then, so add up all that time. That's pretty much what it takes.
Sounds like probably close to 3 or 4 hours minimum.
I'd say maybe 3 hours.
3 hours minimum.
So now we're fishing out.
But you see, a lot of what we do over here, a lot of what we do at the bakery also, if I'll tell you how we do everything, you will not believe how much time it takes, but you kind of have to plan that ahead of time. And if you do, it's not that much time, because you're not spending the whole time in one go.
Right.
You're making the dough, then you go to work. You come the next day, you roll it, you put it in the refrigerator, so you can plan your time where it's not as time consuming.
Right.
All right, so now we're going to take all this and...
So let's talk about the filling. This is raspberry?
This is a raspberry filling.
And what's involved in making that in terms of the ingredients?
Well, first of all, you can buy that
Okay.
ready.
That's the
You can
easiest
buy
way
a
to do
jar.
it.
It's an
Yeah.
easier way, and I think 99.9% of the people will do that.
Okay.
The other option is to come to Alon's and buy a homemade raspberry or any. We got several selections of different marmalades that we make over here. And we try to use local fruit. We can't always find local fruit that we're looking for, but peaches we usually do find that. And the other way is to find a recipe and make it at home.
Okay, but
So
that
maybe
sounds like
next
a lot
time,
of work.
yeah, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is. So we'll take these. We'll open a little opening on the side over here to all of them.
Okay.
Make sure we got
Just like an
yeah
inch or so, maybe.
a little
A
yeah.
little less, maybe.
It's very hot, so you can wait a second. We like to do it when it's hot because when it's hot, the marmalade kind of melts a little bit inside and kind of gets soaked a little bit in the dough.
Yeah. So you're cutting to the middle about?
Yeah, I'm going all the way to the middle. You
Okay.
see, the knife is going all the way. And then we'll take our piping bag.
And so for people at home, they can use like a plastic bag with the corner
absolutely.
cut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take that. I already cut a little hole at the end. Right, so you can see it comes up.
Yeah.
And then we'll take the incision, we stick it inside, and we put some filling as much as you like. I usually don't like too much filling because sometimes you eat a donut and it kind of go all over the place. So Sufganiyot, I'm sorry for saying donut.
But it's the holidays.
It is,
We don't mind getting
exactly.
messy.
Right.
And so while we're doing this, do you want to talk about some of the other offerings that you have here for Hanukkah?
We do different, Jewish specialties. Anything from brisket. We do latkes, of course. We make delicious
potato
latkes.
pancakes for people who might not know
potato pancakes.
The phrase for that.
Now we'll put a little bit of powdered sugar.
That's like the most important part, right?
It is, And then this is just a comparison. This is the one we make over here that approved and all that. You can see the different, they are a little larger, they're a little bit fluffier. These are a little bit smaller. They didn't have a chance to proof like these over here.
Right.
But
so if you spend all the time that you're supposed to spend, this is how they will look, yeah. But these still aren't too bad. They still look pretty nice.
Yeah,
even without the proofing.
The other thing we did also is when we took the dough out of the bowl, we didn't press it down so hard that we left no air in there.
Right.
So we did it very gently. So there's still some proof, even though it was a little bit dense. We'll try those in a second so you can tell the audience how it is.
Okay.
So
twist my arm.
Yeah. So.
And really quickly, again with the oil, what kind of oil are we using?
This is just canola oil.
Okay, so any canola oil, and that's the best for frying.
For frying, it's a good oil to use.
Okay. Okay. All right. So.
Are you gonna have one?
I'm gonna have one. Are you gonna have one?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna have one of the ones that proofs a little longer.
Okay.
It looks so pretty. All right.
All right. Let's do it.
All right.
I'll take one that we just made. Actually. Let's see.
Let's see. Compare.
Yeah. Mine is much better.
I beg to differ.
Now try this one.
Okay.
Just so you see the difference between a hot Sufganiyot.
All right, you're right. Yours is better.
Need to be warm.
They need to be hot.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, these are still really good, but.
Yeah.
And actually, that begs the question. So if you make them ahead of time, can you warm them back up again? Are these the type of thing that, or would you not recommend doing that?
You can try. I mean, I never tried it, so I can't. I don't want to say one way or another.
But if you make these ahead of time and you freeze them, can you pull them back out? Do you think would that work?
It's like anything else.
Yeah. Okay. Not going to be as good.
Yeah.
But
we freeze anything today.
Doable. Right. All right. So. Just to remind everybody, one last time, we were making Sufganiyot at Alon's Bakery in Dunwoody. What is your exact address here?
It is 45.
I
forgot to add 1 teaspoon of salt to the recipe. So.
All right. So don't forget the salt. It's important. But that will be in the recipe that we have online. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. My pleasure.
All right. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.